I love that part. I play it every episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Fave from Fans, the podcast where we explore all things favorite. I'm your certifiable or certified enthusiastic host, Jamie Ray, and today I have a returning guest back to the show to join me. He is, okay, I'm going to look at the notes, an author, a filmmaker, a horror savant, and a forensic psychologist, and a consultant, a criminal nologist. Is that criminal KNO? No, criminologist who works with law enforcement in the state of Michigan. He has 7 degrees, PhD. He's going for number 8 soon. And he still finds time to write some of the most disturbingly dark horror that's out there. Yes, I'm talking about Rotten Tail. Once again, please welcome back to the show, Mr. David C. Hayes.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir. Hi.
Hello, it's nice to be here. Thanks so much. Good
Yeah.
night.
So, say what you were saying when we first started about what we look like.
Oh, we look like the two before pictures for the hair club for men.
I can't even be mad because it's so true.
It's pre-plugs, both of us.
Oh wow. So
We just need those little marks where where they're gonna sow the seeds and
I know
grit it
someone.
out.
Yeah, I know someone who did that, and dude, the whole front of his head just turned into a huge scab. And you're like,
Ugh.
wear a hat and this guy's not the guy who wore hats, but he had to wear a hat for like months. And I'm like, you know what? I'm fine.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't. I don't worry about my hair
me either.
at all.
Well, I worry. I worry about other things. So today we're diving into something that is absolutely right into your wheelhouse in more ways than one, and that is the real crimes behind true crime movies.
hmm
So, David, I gotta ask, even though I know the answer, why are we talking about the true crimes of true crime films?
because they're fascinating first and foremost, and true crime is like this. The zeitgeist of true crime is just taken over, not just the United States but the world. And it's really, people feel really cool when they can see like the most dark and deviant things, and it's based on something real, and they can see this in the safety of their own homes. Less than 1% of people in the United States are even impacted in the slightest way by violent crime, but it's something that we just really latch onto because it's an easy way to scare ourselves, and on one side, and to feel a little bit superior to the criminals that get caught on the other side as well. But we're really fascinated with dark behavior. That's why horror films are so popular. And this, in my opinion, makes it a little bit scarier when it's done well. When like, oh, this was down the street. Well, that's terrifying.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. Well, all right. Well, I am really excited. Been working on this. This is the first time we've ever talked about this. We've never talked about it before, and it was a horrible recording. That never happens on this show, and
Not
it never
once.
will. It never
I've
will.
heard my short-term shot, so it could have happened. I don't know.
Exactly. All right. Well,
90s were weird.
like we do every time, I have invited the guest to come on with 2 honorable mentions. That's right, Jay Hall. Not 33, but 2. So, David, are you bringing us some honorable mentions?
I am bringing some honorable mentions. Now, the parameters for this were feature film based on true events, based on a true story, true crime feature film, or a TV movie slash miniseries. So
Right.
that's our parameters for here. Um, and both of my honorable mentions kind of take notorious cases and go a little bit farther into the fictionalization
Okay.
than anything else. And the first one is, I've got physical copies of these because I'm a super huge nerd. Um, Ed Gein the musical. Now, um, yeah, if you watch the Ed Gein production on Netflix, that's pretty fictionalized as well. That was terribly done as far as the facts are concerned.
Right.
Only being eclipsed by Ed Gein the musical due to the presence of singing Ed Gein. So incredibly low budget. It was released by SRS Cinema 2 years ago, I believe. And yeah, you want your Wisconsin hillbilly singing to corpses?
That's it right
This
there.
is the one. That's the way to go.
Okay. All right. Well, can't top that. So, what's your next one?
Well, I'll try to top that.
Okay.
Now, how big of a fan of you were of Freddy versus Jason or King Kong versus Godzilla?
Oh, I mean, I like those movies. I think Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla is probably
Yeah,
my favorite of the
that's
big
solid
ones.
stuff.
Yeah.
But it's playground talk. Who can beat who?
Hmm.
Could Batman beat up Captain America? Who knows? Who's faster, Flash or Superman, or Quicksilver? Well, in the true crime world, you need Dahmer versus Gacy. Now, um, in real life, one of them a completely sad and pathetic cannibal, and the other one sad and pathetic non-cannibal,
Oh,
both
okay.
preying on young men. But in our world, they have a brutal fight to the finish because they're fighting for the top spot in infamy. Again, another incredibly low budget piece. This came out, I believe, 2012, 2010 or 2012, one of those two.
Okay.
And you have a film star, Randall Malone, who you may remember from MTV, playing John Wayne Gacy.
Okay.
And you have Austin Ford playing Jeffrey Dahmer. Now, you know this is quality because Austin Ford is the writer, director, producer, star.
Yeah. Well, he
Probably wrote the
knows.
music,
He
and
knows good stuff.
he well knows he's good. That's and of course, you need a complete and utter narcissist to pull this off because everyone we're going to be talking about today is a complete and utter narcissist.
That's true. That's
So those are
true.
my honorable mentions: Ed Gein the
Ah,
musical and Dahmer versus Gacy.
those are some good ones. Never heard of them, but those are some
Good,
good.
good is not the term I'd use, but they are fun.
Well, I have two honorable mentions. The first is Arsenic and Old Lace, the 1944 Frank Capra classic starring Cary Grant. As we know that this was based on a play. Oh, I did not know it was based on a real story about Amy Archer Gilligan, who ran a nursing home in Connecticut in the early 1900s and is believed to have poisoned somewhere between a dozen and 50 residents. Sometimes for their insurance money, sometimes for inheritance, sometimes because they didn't have, TV back then. She was convicted of murder in 1917. So I love this film. I had zero idea. I mean, I just thought it was just a screwball comedy with with a chance to bring some really great actors and show their presence. um, wow, when I found this out, that's crazy.
That's
So,
it's a wonderful story. And well, I mean, it's a wonderful play. It's a tragic story. It's a wonderful play.
right,
And it kind of encapsulates the social sentiment of the time and how the elites were just kind of all encompassing, and they had to have that way. They were the cultural aficionados of what was happening, and it's interesting how it's like pre Great Depression. So all these things are, and it really relates to I think was it 19 what year was the film? 1940 what?
44.
1944. Yeah, it's that's again we're in pre-World War, and so we're not rationing yet. We're not looking at the upper echelon as
No, no, but
as an enemy.
44. We were already in it.
We were
It was
not when they made it
41,
though.
huh? Oh,
Not
the
when they
time of
made.
the. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
100%. It was. It just said. It doesn't actually give them, but it's 1900s, and she was convicted in 1917. So, I'm sorry. You're correct.
Right. So it's so interesting, and there's a correlation too. So you're familiar with the case of Dorothea Puente, right?
Hmm. But for those
Ours,
people who aren't, why don't you go ahead and just explain it to them?
awesome. It's the same story. set in California in the 1970s and 80s. So
Wow.
another, Dorothea Puente ran a nursing home for indigent men, pensioners coming in with their Social Security, and they would simply sign the Social Security over to her when they moved in as one of those conditions, because you could have a representative that would take your checks and cash and make sure all your things are all right.
Right.
She just happened to kill them and poison them and bury them in the back.
Keep cashing those checks.
And she continued cashing those checks long after their deaths, too, since she never reported it.
Well, yeah.
Those checks would just keep coming in.
Oh, all right. So my second honorable mention is from one of the most famous killers, probably, I mean, we'd almost say the most famous killer. It's the 2001 film From Hell with Johnny Depp, based on Alan Moore's graphic novel. I know you're familiar with this, not just that, but the real case, where in 1888, 5 women were killed with surgical precision over the course of just a few months. Killer was never officially identified and definitely never caught. There are so many conspiracies about who it was, but From Hell really treats the 5 ladies with like real dignity. I mean, we all know that they weren't, the upper echelon of society, but they were human. They were people who were working and striving to make their life better. So I love the film, but it just eked out making it into the Fave 5. So I'm pretty sure we're going to hear the name Jack Ripper. Tripper? Did I just make a connection?
You just did.
Jack
T. Ripper. Yeah.
Yes. Makes so much sense now. That's where Chrissy went.
He pretended he was gay. Jack the Ripper pretended he was gay to live with these women. Okay.
So, yeah. Okay. So, all right, we've gotten that out of the way. David, let's get to it. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
It's a mess! I love that film!
And the follow-up, The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
No, you said that twice.
Yeah, they're the same.
You smell
well, they're different, but they're the same.
Wow. I love this film.
It's
the
great.
Original. I've seen the remake too, but the original one, I mean, it's got... Please, go ahead.
I will, because I love this so much. Charles B. Pierce, the legend behind The Legend of Boggy Creek, put together this film. And 1940s, there was a rash of killings in Texarkana. And that is essentially that little border between Texas and Arkansas that historically no one cared about.
Yeah, it's where Texas, Arkansas, and Canada meet, right?
Exactly. Yeah, right on the Gulf of Manitoba. So we're kidding. If you think that's real, I got nothing for you. Just continue thinking it's real. There's no telling you otherwise. But this rash of killings were happening, and they were pretty much lovers' lane killings.
Right.
So they were couples being attacked. The town really didn't have the first clue what was happening here. So they weren't equipped to handle this. In fact, really no law enforcement at the time was equipped to handle this sort of thing. And it was reported like a man in a hood or a pillowcase over their head with the eye holes cut out. This is fairly accurate right here from descriptions. Was committing these crimes. Eventually, someone was found by the Texas Rangers, who were brought in and confessed, Texas Ranger style, and went to prison for a little while. Was summarily let out because he probably really didn't do it. And it's considered a closed case, but to most people in law enforcement, it is still way open. The Phantom Killer is what they called this particular person, and Charles B. Pierce made this pseudo documentary about this. So the movie works really well, and I'm not quite sure that it works really well on purpose, but it works really well anyway. And there's some acted parts, and a lot of it's treated like a documentary. So there's a narrator documenting documenting the audio over it. So it's in this really weird space of docudrama, and it feels like Texarkana. It's grainy. It was shot on 16, and it's a really cool affectation with 16 millimeter film when it comes within a low light. And low light in 16 millimeter film just makes it feel sickly.
Yeah.
And this works out really well that way. It does help that the entire color of the entire decade of the 70s was like shades of orange and brown. So that, you couldn't escape it. We were there. Look at our hair. And
Mm-hmm.
so it works really well. And then the follow up, the remake that isn't quite a remake, is really cool.
Yeah.
I like it because it's about the same town in Texarkana, but there's killings happening because every year they show this. So this is a canon in their world. This is a movie in their world,
Yeah.
and so someone's replicating the Phantom Killer killings because they're showing the movie. It's a wonderful little
It's
piece of
very meta.
meta horror filmmaking.
Yeah.
Very Scream-esque
Yeah.
in its sense.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I love it. It includes Ben Johnson
Uh-huh.
playing a Texas Ranger, Academy Award winner. Ben Johnson, the biggest name on here, and I
Well,
highly recommend.
biggest? I mean, isn't there a female star in this movie that's...
Oh, you Star is a reach. Star is a reach. So, Marianne from Gilligan's Island, Dawn Wells, has 2 lines and gets shot in the face.
Yeah. But she's
That's
in
it.
it.
She is in, yes. So
Yeah.
I would give Ben Johnson the biggest name though.
Okay. Well, agree to disagree. It's fine.
Dawn Wells, huge runner up.
Huge. Right there. Right underneath.
Right there. If it was Ginger, would have won.
I don't know. I was a Marianne guy, though. But that time when Marianne got conked on the head and she dressed up like Ginger and performed I Want to Be Loved by You, not that that's ingrained in my mind or anything, but I vaguely remember that. Yep.
What do you feel about this film since it's a match?
Okay, so let me see if I can parry that one with my own number 5, which is also from the 70s. It is Wes Craven's The Hills Have Eyes. This is another one where I really enjoyed the remake just as much as I did the original, because they didn't just shot for shot try to redo it. They gave it some other life. They gave it some other reasoning to go on, a little bit more back history and stuff. But basically, it's about a family that's on a road trip that breaks down in the Nevada desert, and they're hunted by savage, cannibalistic clans that are living, guess where? In the hills. It's brutal and it's relentless. But what most people don't know is that what drew Craven is the legend of Sawney Beans, a Scottish figure from the 15th or 16th century who allegedly led a can of cave dwellers that ambushed and ate travelers for about 25 years before they were captured and executed. They debate, really, historians do, and probably people with 7 different things that you have, if it was real or if it was folklore. But Craven said, either way, it really got under my skin, and that's where that movie happened. They're completely outside of normal society. They've got no one that they can call on, and they're just being hunted. And Michael Berryman is just I met that guy in real life. He looks the exact same, but let me tell you, he is a quiet soul. He was so nice. Just, I loved meeting him. I have this black and white photo of him crouching down, like wearing a wolf pelt or something like that. It's one of my favorite autographs of all time.
He lives in Michigan, just down the road.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he was big in Star Trek, too, in my early Next Gen.
Science.
So that's it. The Hills Have Eyes from 1977.
I like The Hills Have Eyes. I also like the remake. And what the remake did really well was update that with the technology available at the time and get around the idea of the technology at the time. So They it was a really good update. I think Craven had a hand in the update too.
Oh, did he? Well,
Yeah.
they did do it, and the fact that it was, back in the 50s, we saw so many sci-fi movies that were all about mutated uh, bugs and monsters and whatever because of radiation, and now we have it like it's what the real effects could have been like. I
Right.
thought that was great.
Have you seen the sequel to the original?
I To the original, yes.
Okay.
Isn't there a sequel to the remake too?
I think there's a couple.
So there are at least four hills with eyes.
Right. It's a lot of
So
eyes.
it
A lot
could
of
be
hills.
around 7 or 8 eyes. Yeah. So
Depending on, well,
depending upon, how it goes. Like, all right. Well, let's bounce back and hear what your number 4 is. Or maybe
okay.
even C, because you're like bringing the goods.
I am going to go with a classic deviant and something that traumatized me as a child, but Mark Harmon as Ted Bundy in The Deliberate Stranger.
Me too, man. This was and it was a TV movie, right? Like
Was
an
Two Nights.
NBC.
Two Nights of Terror.
Yes. Wow. He was, but please go ahead.
So, well, Ted Bundy, now this is the first, um, I think the really first broadcast thing of a serial killer sort of thing. Like
Mhm.
true crime was a thing, but it wasn't a huge thing. And what this did was it put this incredibly charming face on front of someone incredibly dastardly. And Ted Bundy had already taken America by storm with the awfulness of his crimes, the audacity of him, attempting to be his own lawyer. At this point, he hadn't been executed yet. He'd just been arrested, and he was going through the trial process. And books started to pop up, but you have this relatively young and unknown actor, who's a very good actor, in Mark
Yeah.
Harmon, step in, and the his ability to vacillate between horrible, awful, terrible. I hate saying evilness because that's like a religious thing. Evil and good are things, but just socially unacceptable at its very worst. Next to incredibly charming and boyfriend material, and the switching was seamless.
Yes.
And so this absolutely scared the hell out of me.
Yeah. And the
Um,
Volkswagen.
and the Volkswagen, it was not an evil person's car. It was not
Mm-mm.
a supervillain's car. It was a beat up bug.
Well, it did come from Germany, but
Oh, well, it's not the car's fault. It was a tool in the hands of a
that's true.
madman. And but Ted Bundy is the reason the term serial killer essentially exists. The FBI was doing all that work in the behavioral sciences unit way back in the day, and they kind of coined it, but it really didn't take root until people saw this,
Right.
and it put that incredibly handsome face at the forefront of absolute awfulness. Resulted in some terrible science, of course, and we made some terrible conjectures, and lots of people got away with things for many years because they, weren't super genius, you know, charming, handsome white guys. But I digress. This film, I think, shocked the nation. I can literally say that as one of the shocked people and the people I knew that watched it as well. You were around.
Oh
Was
yeah,
it
yeah. I
shocking?
remember watching it on TV. I remember that scene where he had the cast on his hand,
Mm-hmm.
and just thinking, holy crap, the things that this guy was doing, even if half of what we saw on TV wasn't true. I was actually in a whole thing when I was like 10, 12, 14-year old reading about serial killers and monsters and all of that stuff. So I had done all of that study, helter skelter, everything. And just to think, like you said, that this guy um, was so smooth and so suave, and then would just boom turn around and you know
And he was
just
proud of it too.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so when the Green River Killer was happening, of course, that was in Seattle, and prostitutes were ending up in the Green River, of course. And he offered himself as a service to the police in order. I can help you catch this person as a predator. They went and they took him up on the offer, trying to get him to confess to other things. But in the process of this, he mocked the Green River Killer because there was no sport in sex workers. There was no sport in people that wouldn't be missed. He was a real predator. He was a real hunter because these are people that would be missed. These are
Nursing students,
yeah,
intelligent people who,
young women.
yeah.
An entire sorority house in
Uh-huh.
Florida at once.
Hmm.
So terrifying. And to be absolutely fair, the my dissertation was on Ted Bundy actually,
Oh,
and Ted Bundy movies and how they've affected homicide investigation. That's a completely
did you
different.
cover summer school?
No, he wasn't Ted Bundy there.
Oh, that's
He
right.
was
That's right. It's
he was
just
a
Mark Harmon.
great summer school teacher though. But the Deliberate Stranger was fairly accurate.
Really?
Yeah. The thing that it was lacking in was it did not go into the horrible details. It glossed
And
over
being
some of the
broadcast
worst.
TV, that would
Mhm.
probably jive. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Wow. So that's something we're gonna have to talk about too when we get to the break. Is how accurate some of these have been and versus what they haven't been. So,
Aggie musical, probably pretty accurate. I'm sure he
right? Yeah, I
sung.
think it's
Yeah,
dead on.
he had a baritone.
All right. Well, my number four is, I think, a pretty well known film. It's from 1987 and it's called The Stepfather with
Hmm.
Terry O'Quinn. It's, I think, one of the most underrated performances in horror movies because he does everything without the the use of prosthetics, of CGI, or anything. He literally becomes different people just by shaving part of his head and changing his glasses, and he really did a whole Clark Kent thing. So the story goes into what basically was the story of John List, who was a New Jersey man in 1971 who methodically murdered his entire family, mother, wife, and three kids, and then vanished for 18 years. All the while, he was living under a complete new identity. He had remarried, attending church regularly, had a job. Everybody looked at him as like, he's like the neighborhood helper guy. And it
Hmm.
wasn't until Don Walsh and America's Most Wanted got his picture out there, and then everyone was like, I know that guy. I go to church with him.
He makes a
So
great barbecue.
he's great. Oh my God. But, you know, I saw this and I had to capture it. It says that Terry O'Quinn, he captures the terrifyingly ordinary
Hmm.
just perfectly. I mean, he like Bundy also kind of feels a little too good to be true because he is so handsome and charming. And by all accounts, List and of course Terry Quinn, they're not incredibly handsome guys or suave or debonair. They literally feel like, oh gosh, let me help you out. And then whoosh, it just turns.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
so
Scary Suburbia.
yeah,
Is
you
the
familiar with this one?
I am.
Okay.
I'm familiar with this one. And a very accurate description of the list crimes. And again, like he was an accountant.
Hmm.
No one thought anything of it until there was reports. The neighbors. In retrospect, were like, well, we thought something was strange with that family. Like, no, you didn't. You
No.
just say that.
Yeah.
Gosh, this is the absolute banality of the person. You know, so incredibly boring. And these are themes that are explored all the time in things that are generally like incredibly normal, and the normalcy of it. And we can't trust the normalcy of it. And that's when the true crime or horror films work the best. Is if you can convince someone that you're not a threat, but you're
Yeah.
this incredible threat.
Let me in.
Exactly. Let
Mhm.
me in. Stepfather, all the sequels to the Stepfather.
Yeah.
I did a play with Terry O'Quinn's sister once.
Really?
We were in Barefoot in the Park together.
Oh wow. Wait, with Terry O'Quinn's sister?
Sister, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did he show up?
No,
Oh.
no, I would
Oh.
show up.
I don't know,
To
man. I'm
see,
just
he may have
thinking.
shown up to see his sister, way in the back, hanging out. But it was like in the middle of lost time, so he would have been recognized pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah. Well, we have already discussed my number three, which is The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Can't really add anything else, except I think you said they called him the Phantom Killer, that it went on for about 10 weeks, and the Texas Rangers and the Canadian Mounties got together to solve that crime. Um,
We still solve crimes like that today.
yeah. So, for instead, I'd like to talk about something that I just watched, and I don't have
Okay.
all the names or anything like that down, but it's called Candy. Have you
Okay.
seen this one yet?
I have not.
Okay, it's on, I think it was on Hulu, and it's about a mom, like totally suburban type, mom, who decides she needs to have some spice in her life, has an affair with a friend's husband, and then the friend ends up dead, and they're trying to figure out who to, and it was her. Spoiler alert.
Thanks.
Again, based on a true story. Interestingly enough, it's Jessica Alba.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jessica Biel. And then Justin Timberlake plays the police officer, the detective, with this fabulous mustache. It's set in the 80s. Man, I'm telling you, I don't really watch. There's like 5 episodes maybe. I don't really watch a lot of stuff. But in the trailer, it shows the mom with a big glass clear pitcher of water, dumping sugar and then opening that pack of Kool-Aid into it and stirring it in. I was like, you got me. Just
Someone
brought me back to the 80s like right away. And
has grown up then to get that
right.
accurate.
And interestingly enough, the husband, not the one that had the affair, but the one of the killer's wife, he drove a Volkswagen pickup truck, which I'd never seen.
I haven't seen one of those.
It kind of looked like an El Camino type style.
They were small.
Yeah, but I had never seen one before. But it's very entrenched in the 80s. They've got the hair down, they've got the outfits down, all of the, just like in the kitchen, they've got, of course, we both love the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's when
it
I was
was
cool.
just, yeah, and it was very well done. Jessica Biel, of course, is a very attractive woman, and she just played this role like nobody's business. She had really short, curly hair and the big glasses. And
That's great.
anyway, it's called Candy. It's definitely worth watching. It's about maybe
Know how
four
it
and a half
ends.
hours over 5 episodes.
We all know how it ends.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting in that you kind of figure out, she did it. But then when you find out when they get to trial and her defense, it's like mind blowing. And you think about it from back in the 80s, I think this was one of the first times they used it. And if you want, I'll watch it, or if you don't want to watch it, I'll tell you about it off camera. But definitely check it out. It's called Candy.
Multiple personality.
No,
Oh, good.
something even more interesting. Something I guess I'd heard, but never used it as a defense like this. Well, hell, if you're not going to watch it, I'll tell you.
Well, I'm not gonna-
Okay, she claims it was self-defense because the other wife confronted her, and she had an axe, but when she hit her in her head and whatnot. But so when she was finally able to get it away from the wife, she reverted to a childhood state and just hacked away 47 times. She hit her with an axe. And they say it was all because of some stuff that her mother had done to her. Not
Traumatic
physical,
spontaneous recall.
yeah, it's just like shushed her, and she fell back into a primal state. And it was really, really well done. The crazy next door neighbor from 2.5 Men, Rose? She's the wife that gets killed.
Oh, okay.
So
That
anyway,
sounds
very
interesting.
well. So anyway, spoiler. It's called Candy, and it's out there now.
With
So
a traumatic spontaneous recall.
there you go. Okay, so this is the part of the show where we usually take a break and we talk about what's going on in your life.
Mhm.
You were on Court TV not too long
I
ago.
was. I was on Court TV. It was quite some time ago. It was during the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping kerfluffle, and so I was asked to come on and give an opinion on kidnappings, of course, in general, what could have happened here, criminal behavior. So it was interesting. Poor lady is probably long gone.
Yeah, yeah.
But my bet, for the record, was botched home invasion.
Oh, okay. So it was supposed to be a kidnapping. Like
No,
maybe
no,
they didn't know
think
she
that
was there.
I think they probably didn't expect her to fight back, or maybe they didn't
Oh,
expect her to like have a coronary or something in front of her. So if someone's breaking into an elderly person's home in Pima County, Arizona, they're looking for drugs or money. Those are really the only two things, and they're not really the most adept criminals. So
yeah.
I could see a panic pull her and get rid of her in the desert somewhere. Wake up the next day, suddenly realize she had a famous daughter, do the world's worst and most ham-handed ransom,
Right.
and just disappear in the wind.
That's crazy. And yeah,
So
again, like you said, may never find out. Oh,
I don't think we will. Not that's a desert that the mafia has used for a very long time for certain things. So no one's caught them.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Where Jimmy Hoffa vacationed. So,
Last time he's still there,
yeah.
permanent vacation.
So you also do a lot of pro bono work
I do.
on people's cold cases and stuff. What's that about?
So with the law enforcement agencies or authors come to me for case analyses or victim families come to me for unsolved cases, I'm more than happy to like try and help. So that's really kind of the crux of it. I think that there's not a lot of attention paid a lot of times to cold cases, and they're really underfunded, and victim families and everyone else still needs a little bit of assistance now and then to someone still needs to be looking. So I do a case analysis, like I said, for cold cases, looking at criminal behavior, propensity of things. I go over files again just to make sure all the stones have been
Fresh set of
turned.
eyes.
Yeah, exactly, a fresh set of eyes. um, I do a lot in the criminal humanities too. So if there are like media artifacts attached to it, like a letter written from somewhere, or any filmed content, or even like social media content, I'm happy to review all of that as well and give that informed opinion. But yeah, it's just another tool that hopefully could lead to some kind of resolution at some point.
Yeah. It's really great work, man. Doing the
Thank
Lord's
you.
work. And when you're not doing that, you're writing horror movies.
I am, and I'm recording horror music.
Oh, that's true.
Right, we have a Kickstarter going right now.
Oh, really?
Yes. Um, you watched the new Halloween films, right?
Uh-huh.
Did you like them?
Yeah.
I thought they were
Yeah.
okay, but they did us a disservice because it retconned all the Halloween sequels. It
Yeah.
took them all out of canon. 2 through Busta Rhymes is gone.
Yeah.
So we put together a compilation album, a punk rock metal tribute to the Lost Halloween sequels, with different
Okay.
bands doing tribute songs to every one of them, from Halloween 2 all the way down. It's called Cannon Fodder, and Cannon with one N. And
Versus CANO?
yep. So like they're no longer in canon
No,
anymore.
I mean, there's just one N, so it's just
Yes.
CANO. There's no N on the end of it?
Well, there's 2 N's, not 3. How about that?
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Just, I'm trying to be specific
You're
here.
going to be podcast host fodder in a minute if we keep this up. But but no, it's a lot of fun. There's
Yeah.
bands like I Got Worms, some members of Lords of October, Snort is on there, Gustine. Some really cool music is coming in already, and we're looking for the Kickstarter to get it on vinyl and CD and all kinds of fun stuff.
Cassette?
If you wish, you want a cassette, I'll make you a cassette.
Oh, okay.
I love cassettes.
I recently had a friend who is from, well, like, right outside my hometown. It's a town called Pineville. And they had a run where they put an album together and it came out on vinyl. And they made cassettes too, which I thought
Well,
was pretty interesting. There's still people out there making new cassettes that you can record onto.
my first EP was a cassette.
Yeah, there you
Follow
go.
Dr. Cujo wherever you stream music. I'm gonna send you a cassette. Can you play cassettes?
Oh yeah, I could play an 8 track if you had it. I could play it reel to reel if you had it.
I would love to make an 8 track, just
Uh-huh.
one.
I actually have an 8 track recorder, and I bet you could find blanks out there. That would be awesome.
Hold on.
Just saying. Let me know. We
Do we
can
have to
work
do an
something
eight?
out
We have to do an 8 track tier for the Kickstarter.
with that donk in the middle of the songs.
It's so satisfying.
It's so kids will never know the
No,
feeling. You know, wow. No.
no. But I still
Um.
collect cassettes too.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Well, I don't collect them so much anymore. I finally, my friend Jennifer found me one of those old Napa Valley 100 cassette things, and I put it on the wall, and I filled it, and that's
you're
it.
done.
I'm not going to
You're done.
do anymore.
I can't stop because there's wonderful things on LP and vinyl that are super expensive. They're
Mhm.
not that expensive if you can find it on cassettes.
Yeah. And there's still a bunch
It's
of stuff not out that's
mhm.
was only back from cassettes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm
There we
with
are.
you.
I'll give you the link to that later so you can share
Okay.
with
Yeah, I'd like
all
to
of
put
our
it all in
listeners.
the notes, and your band it's found on Spotify as well because that's
Yeah,
where I
Dr.
listen to it.
Cujo. That's you
With a
Spotify, Amazon, everything else.
Yeah, yeah, cool, cool. And you got anything in the works aside from that, like paper wise or book wise?
Book wise, we're working on a couple of things here and there. I am going to be contributing to the Time Cop Blu-ray release from Imprint Films. I've got an
Oh,
essay going in the booklet with that, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
that's
And
does that have pictures?
it might, not from me.
Awesome. I love pictures.
Well, podcast it is. So I'm not sure. So
Oh,
that's
that's
a lot
awesome.
of fun. Yeah. So there's a bunch of fun little cool things happening. It's a busy summer, so
That's great, man. And you can well again, we'll put notes and links and all of that stuff so people can find you and go buy all your merch. And I mean, you never know. There may be somebody out there who hears this and says maybe David C. Hayes can help me solve
maybe
something.
yeah, no, totally, yeah. I am more than happy. I will take a look at anything for
Okay.
anybody, and of course, there's never a charge for anything.
Wow, that's awesome. You're a good guy.
Yeah,
Still don't understand why you come on this show, but thank you.
because you're a good guy too, and we have matching hairstyles.
Me too. Okay, well, now that we've gotten all of this out of the way, we have gotten to what is commonly known to as our penultimate choices. That's right, number two. Whoa. David, lay it on me, sir.
Okay. Number two. Are you sure we're number two?
Hmm. Yeah, because my number three, you gave me your number three, and my number three was we already talked about Town That Dreaded Sundown. So we talked about Candy. Did I miss a number three?
I think so.
Okay, well, what's your number three then?
Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, Killer. Okay.
So
Okay.
this is only sort of about the Zodiac Killer.
Is this the one with like Jared Leto and Gyllenhaal?
No.
Okay.
This is the one that came out in 1971.
Okay, that's the one I like. The more recent one, I swear to God, I slept through parts of it.
Oh, the one from Fincher?
Yeah.
I think it's a really well made film.
A lot of
This one
people.
this one's not a well made film.
Yeah, yeah.
This was made while the Zodiac crimes were still happening. So they hadn't finished yet. The Zodiac was still preying on people, and a guy that owned a bunch of pizza places invested all the money. He was going to make a movie about the Zodiac that was so offensive to the Zodiac Killer that he knew that if the Zodiac Killer came to see the movie in San Francisco, he'd be able to find him. And he even hired security to work the concessions. So,
Wow.
like, the biggest, burliest men you've ever seen are making popcorn and, like, serving sodas to people. And he just knew that the Zodiac would be so incensed when his characterization as this impotent, Satan-worshipping mama's boy postal worker I think
Postal
that's
worker.
probably he was a postal worker in the film, would cause him to create such a scene that this guy knew he would catch him.
And that's how they finally ended up catching the Zodiac killer, huh?
Oh yeah, because no, he's never been caught. Never ever been caught. He probably went to go see this movie and laugh too.
Yeah.
So most people did. It is an artifact of its time. It's incredibly low budget. As a psychedelic weirdo slasher movie, it's incredible amounts of fun.
Yeah.
As a tool for law enforcement, it failed abysmally. And so, as everyone knows, the Zodiac was not caught in a theater.
Yeah.
If he was caught in a theater, it'd probably be more Paul Rubens than this. So who knows? But I love the moxie on this guy.
The
That's one of
Moxie.
the moxie on this guy.
Wow.
On what's his name? Oh gosh, I can't remember his name offhand. What is it? Tom Hansen. And the
Mm.
restaurants he owned were a chain of Pizza Man restaurants
Pizza
in the
Man.
San Francisco Bay Area. World's greatest superhero, Pizza Man.
So, serious question. Did you know that Moxie is actually the name for some people? Because I have a good friend. He's a blacksmith, and his name is Moxie. Moxey.
Moxie.
It's the first time I'd
And
ever
he's a
seen.
blacksmith, like a working blacksmith in 2026.
Yep. Yep. He
Nice.
well, I mean, by day he is a pest eliminator. But his real passion, is blacksmithing, and he takes just a lot of cast off stuff and transforms it into a lot of crucifixes. He's a very spiritual person, and he gives those away, for free when he goes to places. But he also tries all of these interesting little things where he'll take like broken tools or hammerheads and stuff and like make them into little animals and whatnot.
Well, that's
But
cool.
he has and we were talking, and he was like, there's nothing better when you get home, people want to take a shower and just lay on the couch. I just want to change my clothes and go outside and sweat my butt off.
Pound metal.
Yeah. So, wow. But yeah. So anyway, Moxie.
I bet he could have caught the Zodiac.
Could have. Barehanded.
Well, with a sword. Duh.
All right. So now that we've corrected my problem and we've gone through this, now it's time for your penultimate choice.
My penultimate choice is another miniseries. Michael Caine trying to hunt down Jack the Ripper. I think this might have been most of our, well, not introduction, but contemporaneously with Deliberate Stranger, this sort of thing was happening too.
Yeah.
And this was a wonderful kind of police procedural with Michael Caine as Detective Aberline, real name of a real detective that was working with the Home Office to try and find Jack the Ripper at the time, and just thwarted by the criminal genius that was before him. It didn't go into the From Hell territory of the conspiracy theories. Those were just those weren't really that prevalent at the time yet. But it did try and attach the Jack the Ripper murders to a part of the social class, the upper social classes, which is interesting. This is a common theme we see, right? Where
Right.
crime is happening on the level of the streets, but it's really these upper echelons of society that are doing it because they're bored, which is a common thematic trope in film, but also in real life too, because we've got that whole Epstein everything happening right now, a class of people that are above the law, and so it resonates in that sense. But I think Michael Caine was brilliant in this, just playing that beleaguered cop. He didn't have these substance abuse issues in real life that he did in the movie, of course. But this is where they kind of introduced these elements of the Jack the Ripper case that really resonated with people and became, whether they were accurate or not, they became part of the discussion.
The lore.
Like the grapes and the carriage and the top hat is that's played up. It didn't it didn't create that, but it really reinforced the idea that there's this top hat there, and the letters. So most of the Jack the Ripper letters were hoaxes. A
Okay.
vast majority of them written by journalists essentially to sell newspapers.
Selling
Imagine
papers.
that. Whew, nothing's changed.
No,
But
it's the same.
it leaned into those and really kind of gave those a bit more credence as well. And interestingly enough, this the thing that stood out to me the most from this production was when they interviewed the actor playing Jekyll and Hyde at the time. So they
Okay.
went there and because one of the theories was it had to be someone suffering from this deviated personality. And apparently the actor on stage was so incredibly convincing playing Jekyll and Hyde that he became a suspect,
Yeah.
which is, wonderful. And even as a kid, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, they can't separate art and artist. And it was a moment. It was a moment for me.
Yeah.
So that particular miniseries did a number on my head.
Wow. So I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any more Jack the Ripper themed movies in your list?
No.
Okay. So my favorite Jack the Ripper has got to be Time After Time with
Wonderful.
Malcolm McDowell and David Warner. I love that film. And you talk about giving it a whole new twist. I mean, it's H.G. Wells, who's,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, an upper socialite friend with his Dr. John, forget what his last name is, who ends up being Jack the Ripper, uses his time machine to go forward to 1970 San Francisco
Right.
to start all over again, which is just such a great idea to, well, that's why he was never caught, because he's in the future.
It's
You
the
know?
future.
Love that
I
film.
also love Terror at London Bridge.
Oh my God, with the Hoff?
With Hasselhoff. Hey, someone bleeds on the London Bridge. It's in where's it at? It's in Arizona
Lake
somewhere.
Havasu.
Lake Havasu. It's in Lake Havasu, Arizona. Jack the Ripper had metaphysically disappeared into the bridge apparently at some point, and we chased when he was in the movie when he was chased down by those British police in 1888 with revolvers.
Yeah.
Because that happened, and so he comes back to life, and David Hasselhoff has to protect the gift shop.
Well,
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. I mean, now we know why he was never caught back then.
And Stephanie Powers and Adrienne Barbeau.
He was stoned. Get it? Because he's in the bridge that's made out of rocks. So
That's a bridge too far.
Touche.
You
Pay. We need 2 pays.
2 pay. Look at our heads. We need 3 pays. What are you talking about?
Okay. So now we get
to
my penultimate, which is a fun film that I'm positive, because you and I are vibing on this, I'm positive that you're not only familiar with, but also probably love. And I am talking about The Legend of Lizzie Borden from 1975. Right? I mean, you're talking about Samantha from, Bewitched. What is that, a comic?
No, it's a movie.
Oh, it's the movie. Oh, it just looked big.
Well,
oh my God.
Next to My Small
list?
Face.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Yes, I love this. It's based on the actual from Fall River, Massachusetts, 1892, where Lizzie Borden's father and stepmother were brutally axe murdered in their home. Lizzie was tried and acquitted, but the question of her guilt was never satisfied. Now, I've seen this a few times. I watched some segments of it when we were doing this for the first time. I mean, for this time, because this is the only time we've recorded this. And it really leans into the whole guilt angle, like unapologetically, which works. But I've read some stuff online, and I know you're a fan of this. So if you wouldn't mind, what did they get right and what did they get really wrong?
So we don't know what they got really wrong, because there isn't, there's been no definitive answers here. I think what they got right was the sentiment in the Borden household.
Okay.
It was acrimonious. I think they got the town's approach and wariness of Lizzie absolutely dead on. It was literally the trial of the century,
Yeah.
and when it happened, it was their OJ, and it took that much you know space in the room. I think that it didn't feature enough of Lizzie's sister,
Okay. That's
who
what I
I
was
believe
hoping.
is probably at least partially culpable for this, at least in the cover up aspects of it. And it didn't really explore um, uh, John Borden's terrible business dealings and just how much he was despised
Oh, okay.
by the community at large for he was essentially a Scrooge. He was a
Yeah.
Scrooge, and the people that had business dealings with him were not pleased most of the time. And he had amassed a huge fortune. Um, kind of kept his daughters under a thumb. They were considered spinsters, of course. They were never going to marry, and they never did. Uh, Interestingly enough, though, Lizzie and her sister they didn't move.
Really?
They stayed in the same place. They stayed in Falls River,
Wow.
even to the end of their lives.
Huh. Awesome. So, fan, obviously, you got a copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was I can't tell for sure, but was it CBS?
I don't
Do
know.
you know?
I don't know if it says it was one of them. No, it doesn't say on the back.
Okay. For some
I
reason, I
wasn't
don't
paying
want to
attention.
think it was NBC. I want to say it was ABC or CBS. Uh,
ABC sounds good.
that's closer. Okay. All right. Good. Well, good. Well, I'm glad you approve. But now we are at the point of the show that so many people wait for. Okay, like
Mm-hmm.
all of the Hungarian villagers are crowded around that one laptop with the Bluetooth speaker that doesn't work, so they have to plug it in now. And they want to know what your favorite is
The
so they can
Hungarian.
get to mine. So go ahead, give us your absolute favorite
Wow.
true crime based.
The necessary evil to get
Yes,
to
to get there.
Jamie Ray's words of wisdom. I get it. I get it. Okay. I don't open for anybody, son. All right.
Right.
So this is my ultimate. This scared the absolute fecal matter out of me as a child.
Okay.
I think this is probably most people's our age's introduction to true crime. Yeah,
I think I know what it is.
and
Did
it's
it involve two tables that were next to each other in the room but never talked?
tables and
Go ahead
what?
and give it up. Go ahead.
Well, you get what you deserve. You get what you
Yes.
deserve.
All right. Yeah.
Two
So
tables that
there's
didn't
parts.
talk.
I read Bugliosi's book a couple of times,
Oh yeah,
and
okay.
there were while they had a big like area where they were actually handling both cases, but one was like sheriff's department and one was
Right,
the LAPD, and they literally had the slug on one table from one murder and the gun on another table, but
right.
they never crossed it until much later.
Cross jurisdictional. Yes,
Yes. So
still
please,
happens, just not
I'm gonna
as.
step back
Oh,
because there's a
no.
lot to unpack.
There. So this was another mini series event. It was a 2 or 3 nighter. I think
Mhm.
probably 2 nighter. And
And for those who are just listening, we are talking about Helter Skelter.
Helter Skelter, correct. The Manson murders. I have distinct thoughts and theories on these Manson murders, so-called Manson murders to begin with. But um, when we are watching this particular mini series, you have this utter sense of dread. So we're in a post Dragnet world at this point, and the voice of the police is like that. That is that. And the lawyers and law enforcement is pretty much the voice of God at that point. You're taking this as verbatim. You're taking this as fact. And the narrator they had for this, who had played Vincent Bugliosi in the film, um, so stoically and convincingly conveyed the awfulness that these police officers and the city of Los Angeles went through at that time was chilling to me. And you have this idea, like we're all familiar with the Manson murders to begin with. Um, a hippie cult, of course, led by Charles Manson, ostensibly led by Charles Manson, kills oh my gosh, Sharon Tate and her friends. The Sharon Tate being the wife of Roman Polanski in Los Angeles, and then another night later they kill the LaBianca family, and these terrible, awful, uh, seemingly politically motivated crimes. Um, Taking place, and it turns out it's these group of young people, these hippies, and at the time that this happened, the hippie movement was looked down upon, and with a sideways glance. It was that counterculture that the straights didn't really get, really didn't understand, and no one really trusted them. And the hippies were these young kids, the free love. The boomers of today actually were the hippies then. FYI, it's hard to believe, I know.
Yeah.
And they were looking at authority with all these things, but this idea of free love was still around, and it kind of lived in harmony until this happens. When people say Charles Manson killed the '60s, he essentially did. When all of the good feeling and trustworthiness and um, putting up with the hippies versus the normal community kind of ended
Square.
with the squares, and it was this terrifying sort of aspect, and they really communicated that in this TV movie. This was 1975, I believe. Hold on, one moment, I could be wrong. Or 1976. It was in the '70s, and
76. And
'76.
it came on.
I was
Yes.
allowed to watch this at 5, and it was an absolutely terrifying mess. Where the Charles Manson was portrayed as this psychotic guru that could manipulate people and allow them, force them to kill, and he took over the minds of these young people. And he was an older person. He was in his 30s at the time, so he was much older than the people he was dealing with, Charles Manson, in real life. And that was it was a terrifying aspect, right? This Svengali could come in and take over our children. He could take over me. I'm just a kid. He could make me do whatever he wanted me to do. And
Yeah.
so the presentation of this just was so intense. There was nothing graphic, but the feeling of dread was so palpable with it that it communicated. And then, of course, during the trial aspects of it, which were a big part of this, Charles Manson's not on trial. uh, from a professional standpoint, I'm not quite sure he masterminded all these things.
Yeah.
Looking back later on, I don't think he had the acuity to do that.
Do
And
you think it was text?
I think it was Tex.
Okay.
The who would could have been doing it for Charles Manson. Who knows? I don't think Charles Manson cared one way or the other if people died for
Yeah.
him. He just wanted a bunch of drugs and have sex and stay out of prison.
Yeah.
It's kind of his thing. Make
Yeah.
music poorly. Some of it's good though.
Orally.
There's some good. The Beach Boys bought a song, so you
Yeah.
know so some of it was good. But yeah, and I think that what this does, because we have this entire film is from the Bugliosi book and the Bugliosi perspective, and Vincent Bugliosi made an incredibly huge career off of this case, and it was in, I think, the city of Los Angeles's best interest to paint the counterculture as demonic and dangerous, because that really allowed them to clean the city up. This turned into a transference for the city as well,
Yeah.
where it cleaned things up. There was an economic upturn, and I think that Charles Manson, who at that point had spent a vast majority of his life already in prison, been abandoned by everyone in his life, family, parents, ward of the state, just cast away. He was finally given so much attention at this point during this trial process, and all he had to do was play a boogeyman. He was going to do it. He just ate this up, and he's
Yeah.
finally getting the recognition. He's in uh, at a point where a punch is a touch, and you're that desperate for contact that I think this just played right into what Bugliosi needed. Um, Tex Watson, he's my guy though. Kind of
Okay.
glossed over. He's the only member of the Manson family who participated in the murders that hasn't given an interview or anything since.
And are all of them still alive?
No, I don't think so. I don't
I'm
think so.
sorry, I'm thinking about the three girls, the three women. Are they still
I think
around? Because
Susan
I know
Susan
Nancy's gone.
Atkinson's gone.
Oh,
I
okay.
believe Squeaky Frome is still around somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Well, she wasn't in that party. She was in the try to pour hot oil on Gerald Ford.
So, what did you think about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I thought it was interesting.
I
I
loved
thought it
it. I
was
thought it was
interesting.
fun.
It was. I love alternate history,
Mhm.
and I think that it's a rare. It may seem weird, but I think it's a rarely positive, outlook for Tarantino. It usually doesn't happen that way, but it's interesting. Like, what would happen if this didn't go down? How different would things be? I
Right.
think I think the country would be fundamentally different since this again dominated the airwaves. It dominated everything.
Yeah.
It's that's part of my reasoning behind Manson not having the mental acuity to do this is he served so well as a national boogeyman. People in Iowa were terrified of Charles Manson. I was terrified of Charles Manson sitting in Michigan,
Yeah.
from this TV movie, but I couldn't even imagine at the time.
Yeah.
And it works so well to have this particular person acting all the devil as your national boogeyman.
Yeah.
And when you have a national figure, when you have a figure that a lot of people can rally around and despise, well, then there's solidarity in that, and more importantly, there's money in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Um, so interestingly enough, I looked it up real quick to make sure. So the first one came out on April 1st, April Fool's Day in 76 on CBS.
What?
It eclipsed the Night Stalker movie to become the top seeded, and it stayed there until it was eclipsed in the 80s by the day after.
Oh,
And so, from what I saw on Wikipedia, and of course, day after still holds the record to today for the most viewed.
I believe it.
Yeah, such that
100%
that
believe it.
movie was something else. Yeah.
All these things terrify
Hmm.
me. Our youth were spent being scared of things.
Yeah. Do you remember Celebrity that came on NBC for like 2 or 3 nights, and it was about these three guys who had in their youth killed a woman, and they formed a pact to never talk about it again. One of them was
No,
he's the guy from one of the leads from the Warriors. Um, anyway,
no.
that's one of the other ones that like has seared itself into. Everybody remembers Thornbirds and Helter Skelter,
Mhm.
but Celebrity for some reason was one that sticks in my head.
No one got me. Mazes
What?
and Monsters with Tom Hanks.
Oh God, yeah, of course. That was
Another
a one
based
night
on,
thing, right?
yep. That
Yeah,
was another based on, true story
yeah.
from Michigan State here down
Oh,
the street.
there you go.
Mhm.
There you go. Yeah, I remember that because we were playing D&D at the time. I think it was in junior high, maybe. And oh man, everybody was like freaking out about it. I was like, well, yeah, the guy was an idiot. We're not going to go down into the sewers and
Don't do
think
the
we're
acids,
fighting.
eh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Watch this kid's going to grow up and want to throw somebody into a volcano or
You will.
um, shrink into a little kid. Well, I don't know. I don't
He's
know.
gonna do
Nobody cares.
something. He's gonna
Yeah,
fight in Vietnam and then play a piano with his feet and
exactly.
go
It's
into
crazy.
space, get stranded.
Crazy. Okay, so we've made it finally. I mean, not that everybody wasn't interested in yours.
Of course,
To
why
my
would they be?
favorite true crime movie, and I think you will appreciate and maybe even agree with this one about how much I love The Untouchables. Brian De
Oh yeah.
Palma's 1987 masterpiece with Kevin Costner and Robert De Niro, and of course Sean Connery.
Hmm.
This one for me,
Wonderful.
yeah, it's a horror story in the way that it's horrific the way the mobsters thought they could get away with anything. And I know that there were a lot of liberties taken with the actual story about how it happened. But as far as cinema goes, and again, it's based on true events. Um, I just thought it was fantastic. The way it was filmed. Obviously, that stairwell scene in the train station is a masterclass in how to slow down and yet still build up in it. It was it was just it's just a fantastic film. Um, I do, and you could jump in here anywhere. I do believe one of the things that they didn't really get across was how haunted Elliot Ness was. Um, because this was not just it was not just like he's a champion, for the right and the police and everything. I mean, it was hard in that time
Oh yeah.
to be doing what he wanted because I mean doing what he did because so many people were going without and then prohibition was coming along and you know people just wanted something to numb the pain and taking all of that away, his life was on the line, over and over. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you'll know better than I is, did he die pretty much penniless?
No, I mean, not sure about the penniless aspect of it, but I know that he left law enforcement um, after catches Capone. He's a pretty big famous guy at that point. He's pretty
Right.
well known. Regardless of how much booze the mafia was bringing in, Capone was still a bad guy. So in Chicago. And that's not so popular. Rest of the country, insanely popular. He was the guy that caught Capone,
Right.
this dastardly villain. So he gets sent to Cleveland after
Oh,
this, and to investigate the Cleveland torso murders.
oh
So
yeah,
there were
really?
torsos being washed up on the shore of the Great Lake, and there was in it essentially a homeless population was they were being butchered. And so Ness comes in to try and investigate, and the Cleveland Torso Killer, a little more savvy than they thought, realized what Ness was there for, and so started to taunt Elliot Ness personally, and would drop bodies off in front of the office, and this eventually got the better of Ness, and he quit law enforcement. The Cleveland Torso Killer has never been caught, and it's one of those infamous unsolved cases. And really, it was the fiend, not Al Capone, but this terrible serial murderer that drove Elliot Ness out of law enforcement.
That could, in theory, have been Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, could have.
I'm just saying.
Jack the Ripper could have been the Zodiac.
That's true.
No, I'm just kidding. No,
Old,
it's
old, old Zodiac.
Oldiac.
Yeah,
He could have
but
been the Black Dahlia killer.
I
For
could.
sure.
That one didn't make my list. I've seen it a couple of times. But anyway, good film. Well, man, great list of horribly bad stories turned into good movies, except the horribly bad ones that you brought up early on.
Right. But they're
Yeah,
all fun.
they're all fun about murders of multiple peoples and stuff.
Hey, so we got movies that tried to catch the killers.
Mm-hmm.
We've got movies that used musicals. We've
Yeah,
got movies that took a few liberties but were wonderful cinema, like Untouchables.
yeah, yeah. So, okay, so here's my question before we wrap up.
Mhm.
Out of these movies that we talked about, which one do you think, knowing what you know, was the closest to the actual facts?
Deliberate Stranger,
Okay. And
the Ted Bundy one.
obviously, Gacy versus
Dahmer.
was the farthest because we do know that Gacy was a clown and he liked to sing. So the musical part we could kind of
Well, was Ed Gein the musical. He could have
Gein.
sung to himself. That could have
That's it.
happened.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Zodiac Killer is the farthest because it was on purpose
Right.
the farthest departure from real life
I got you.
to try and insult that
Yeah.
murderer himself. I've seen dumber ways, to try and catch people. So I guess this is,
Up there.
Chris Hansen should try that next time. We just make movies about everybody. insult them.
So, just pulling it out of your mind there, have there been any Albert Fish movies?
I don't think there has.
That's the guy who creeped me out the most when I was reading those books. Just
Yeah.
the things he did with pins and needles that they found out during the execution attempts.
I
Just
don't think there's much redeeming about that story to make any kind of like filmed entertainment about.
yeah.
Essentially
I don't
turned
know.
himself in.
Have you seen Bridges of Madison County? I mean, they'll make anything these days.
Oh, well, I mean, okay,
Yeah.
but I don't know that letter. If you've ever read the letter that Albert Fish wrote to the mother of his victim,
Yeah. Yeah. But I still have that little book somewhere. But again, I was reading that stuff just crazy when I was a kid.
it's fascinating because we're fascinated with the dark side.
Yeah, we went through this whole episode without talking about the Netflix Manhunter series, so it's a good day.
Boy, it is a good day. For fans of that series, that's a huge departure.
It's a great piece of fiction.
It's a wonderful piece of fiction, and the real life version of it did far more damage than good.
Right. It's really interesting to look back to see where you think they were headed versus where we end up today.
Right. I don't think they were trying to do anything terrible.
No,
I think they were trying to do a good thing. They just weren't scientists.
Right.
And they made some mistakes, and then those mistakes became canon and law and process and procedure. And here we are.
Yeah. Wow. All right, well, folks, that concludes the countdown of our favorite real crimes behind the movies. I'd like to thank Dr. David C. Hayes. Are you a doctor? Because you have a PhD, right?
Yeah.
You go back in time. For taking the time to compile the list and joining us. Do you have any final thoughts, sir?
I think that when you started this episode, you said that you may have been certifiable.
Mm-hmm.
And since I'm qualified to determine this, I'm going with you're right. Nicely done. Stamped and approved.
Well, folks, that's a wrap for Fave. You heard it from the expert. For Fave 5 from fans. If you love the episode, share it, rate it, give it 5 stars, and let more fans in on the fun. You are the reason we do this, folks. So we would love it if you'd try to engage, find us, subscribe. We're on YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok. Seth, we're doing some Blue Sky. That's the only reason I'm on Blue Sky. So follow us at Fave 5 from fans. And don't forget to follow at PM Studios Pod to stay plugged into everything that comes from the Plastic Microphone Studios. All right, folks, we'll see you next time. Don't forget, new episodes of the show come out every Friday.
Really?
Yes, sir, they do. Unless they don't. So be sure to subscribe. And don't forget, folks, we love you out there. Reach out to us. Let us know. We're all looking for people to come onto the show. And remember, it may not be the best. It may not be the most popular. But if it's your favorite, then that's good enough for us. David, take us out, sir.
Have a great night. I love you all.
All
I'm really bad at this part.
I know. That's why I do it every time.
Oh, all right. I'll take it out. Like, as you're the new host of Fave 5 from fans, I'd like to thank Jamie for all the work he's done so far. And we're going to have a new direction next time. It's actually going to be good.
Oh, and that's it. Good night.